Hello everyone, it's Sal, Stretford Post. How you all doing? And welcome to another episode of Breaking Dawn. I hope you're doing good. I hope you're doing fine. Thank you so much for joining me this morning, guys. It's Friday again. What is it? It's Friday, guys. 24 hours before Man United play Man City. Can't get any better than that, can we? Guys, exciting times, really. Nah, not really. It's been a mad week. It's been a mad couple of weeks for Manchester United. We've actually... it's been if anything typifies the tenure of the Glazers and Ineos, it is this week. It's been absolutely madness. And the rumours, the spreading, the toxicity, the protest that's going to be happening on the 1st of February. Loads of things and nothing has changed at Man United. Ultimately, that is a fact. In fact, it's got a little bit worse, hasn't it? But we're not going to speak about that too much today. Good morning, everyone. I hope you're doing well. Please don't forget to smash a like on the video. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new. All that jazz. If you guys could do that for me, absolutely fantastic. Let's get into some Manchester United news. Firstly, in regards to a little bit of transfer news, Manchester United are interested in Cader Mate, the Rennes 18-year-old centre forward. Cader Mate is a French under-21 international valued at around 10 million euros, guys. Manchester United are looking to bolster their attack as they feel we are a little bit lightweight up front, because if Sesko gets injured, then it's going to be a problem. In regards to Joshua Zirkzee is not for sale. Joshua Zirkzee has openly stated he wants to leave. He wants to go to Roma. Roma were interested, but Roma have already signed someone now. So Roma are not going to be in for Zirkzee. So Man United are looking for another striker that can add weight to the striking options and the attacking options in regards to this season. Now, it's going to be highly unlikely that Man United sign any players this January. We've only got, a couple of weeks to the transfer window closes. It's going to be very difficult for Man United to sign anyone. However, it's not in the realms of impossibility that they do that. I wouldn't be surprised. I'm not surprised with anything Ineos do these days, and the Glazers do. They can pull a rabbit out of the hat and do something, that you're least expecting. Both ways, bad and good. Mostly bad, but sometimes they do things that are, that's not that bad. But in regards to Manchester United, we are looking at the striker options. I mean, again, look, it is one of the priorities that Man United need to fix up the striking options. We don't have enough striking power. We don't have enough strikers. But the midfield needs to be sorted out. It absolutely does. We do need to sort out that midfield. We need to get that sorted out ASAP, because our midfield is weak. Bagel FC. And we've been that for a few years now. And the fact that we're not being linked to many midfielders does fill me with a little bit concerned. But having said that, Manchester United are interested in Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Now, Ruben Loftus-Cheek is a 29-year-old English player, England international, currently playing for AC Milan. Of course, made his name at Chelsea, had a little brief spell at Fulham, but he's currently playing at AC Milan. And to be fair, he's doing okay. He's a centre midfielder, attacking midfielder, and a CDM, central defensive midfielder, of course, guys. Ruben Loftus-Cheek burst on the scene about 10 years ago, was an absolute diamond of a player. I remember he came through and we were looking like, this guy's the generational. This guy is going to be an amazing player, but it didn't quite materialize for him. For whatever reason, it didn't materialize for him, but he's always been in and around the England squad. He's always been in and around the team. And, he's gone to Milan. He's done all right, to be fair. He's been there for a while now. He has done okay. He hasn't just gotten there for 1 year and gone home. He's been there for a few years now. So he's doing okay. And Loftus-Cheek is a talented player. He's valued at 10 million euros. So, I mean, the highest market value from Loftus-Cheek is 30 million. I don't think it's going to be that. 10 million euros to 20 million euros would get you Loftus-Cheek. Now, look, I know there's a lot of people, the standards merchants, I know, that will say that, you know what, Man United should be doing better. We should be getting better players. We shouldn't be getting Conor Gallagher. We shouldn't be getting Loftus-Cheek. Now, people need to remember that this January, this is a stopgap thing, right? Buying a player in January doesn't mean we're going to stick to that player and that player is going to be the main guy next season. Man United could sign a player, right, like Loftus-Cheek, like Ruben Neves, like Conor Gallagher. But Conor Gallagher's gone Spurs now. That's not possible. But Man United could sign a player like Loftus-Cheek. And in the summer, go and buy an Anderson, go and buy a Wharton. Do you know what I mean? And then if Loftus-Cheek does well, then you've got him in your squad anyway. And it does fill up the squad. It does make the squad a little bit stronger. Of course it does. So Ruben Loftus-Cheek to Manchester United, 29-year-old, CM, AM, CDM. 10 million if we can get him for that. 15 million if we can get him for that. I think that would be a decent buy, in my opinion. Now, obviously, there's always going to be words and vocal how would I say, opinions about Manchester United. Over this last few hours, there has been an opinion from Nicky Butt again and Paul Scholes. Nicky Butt and Paul Scholes have took it upon themselves to kind of slander Licha Martinez, speaking about how Haaland of Manchester City could pick him up and run with him to the goal. I find this very disrespectful. And I'll tell you why I find this disrespectful. Because he's a professional player. And they're two ex-pros, right? So they know about, disrespect and stuff like that. And there's a line you don't cross. There's banter and there's a line you don't cross. Man United are playing a massive game tomorrow against Manchester City. It's a huge game. And the last thing that Licha Martinez needs is a two legends of the football club slandering him, bantering him, so to speak. And I think this is disgraceful. I really do. And, I don't know what you guys think about it. I think this is wrong, and I spoke about Nicky Butt and I spoke about Paul Scholes before in regards to Ruben Amorim, what they were talking about Ruben Amorim. But this is a prime example why you don't listen to these guys. Yes, Paul Scholes is a legend of the football club. He's an absolute dime, one of the best midfielders of all time. Zinedine Zidane's favourite player. You know what I mean? And then Nicky Butt, great squad player, good player. But I prefer these players when they didn't speak in the media. Because Paul Scholes and Nicky Butt, rarely you hear a peep out of them when they were playing. Rarely you would hear a peep out of them. Now, all of a sudden, they've saved up all the words from those days, and all of a sudden, they've got things to say. I find it really, really baffling, and I find this really disrespectful. I find saying that Licha Martinez, Haaland could pick him up and run to the goal. I find that really, really disrespectful, guys. I don't know what you think. Licha Martinez has been 5 games without conceding a goal against Haaland. 5 times he's played, he hasn't conceded a goal, right? So I don't get where we're going with this. Haaland is a great player. Haaland will score goals against anyone anyway. So, I'll say that anyway. So what is this all about? What are we doing here? You know what I mean? At the end of the day, Licha Martinez is a very important player for Manchester United. Left-sided centre-back. We need him. And we don't need gobby people online or gobby people on the media talking their smack, talking their rubbish about our players at the moment. Should be encouraging the players. Michael Carrick's first game. Should be encouraging the players, getting the players on side. Yeah, come on, lads. Let's do this. We've got a big game against Man City tomorrow. Let's do this. Let's go out there. Let's show Man City what we're all about. That's what it should be. We should be talking about this, and this is a massive game for these players to prove themselves. You don't become an Argentinian international if you're a little midget and you get carried everywhere. At the end of the day, look, I'm not surprised, but it is getting a little bit out of hand now. I do think there's an element of low IQ with some of our players. I'm not going to say that just because they play for Man United doesn't mean they have a high IQ. Doesn't mean they have a high opinion on football. Because they were given an opportunity when they were younger and they came into an environment that they were lucky. The best Man United environment in history of Man United. Alex Ferguson environment. Where anyone could play in that team and win. And I mean anyone. Tom Cleverley, Gibson were in the Man United team. They won things. So at the end of the day, they need to thank their lucky stars that they were in that Man United team in that era under Alex Ferguson, under that ownership, under that structure. It was, which was almost perfect, to be honest with you, wasn't it? I hate coming on here and I hate talking about these things and I hate bringing these things up, but these things keep cropping up. They keep cropping up. Yesterday we had the overlap. We had Roy Keane. In regards to Roy Keane, I understand Roy Keane's point in regards to Steve Holland and Michael Carrick, and obviously Johnny Evans. And look, a part of that in regards to Roy Keane, I agree with Roy Keane. I agree. Not so much in Steve Holland. Steve Holland, I know he's worked under Gareth Southgate. That's true. He's also worked under Ancelotti as well. What I would say is that the speaking about Johnny Evans and Jonathan Woodgate, I think he's right. I don't think people should be given a coaching role at Manchester United just because they're an ex-player or whatnot. Johnny Evans was about to create a loans company, wasn't he? This is what Roy Keane said. Johnny Evans was about to create a loans company. He was about to do his own business. And now he's been called to Man United as a coach. It's weird. It is weird. However, I would reiterate, this is an interim role. This is a temporary role. And these people, these coaches are not going to be at the club forever. At least we think so. At least we think that is what's going to happen. At the end of the season, they'll be going elsewhere. And we'll be getting a full-time manager. And the full-time manager most likely will be bringing in his own backroom staff. That's what most full-time managers are. Now, I spoke yesterday about Luis Enrique. I've spoken about De Zerbi. Now, let's talk about Carlo Ancelotti. Carlo Ancelotti to Manchester United is a bit 10 years too late, in my opinion. I love Carlo Ancelotti, and I think he should be Man United manager. He should have been Manchester United manager when Alex Ferguson left the football club. It should have been straight away Carlo Ancelotti. When you look at Carlo Ancelotti's record, it's absolutely incredible what he has won in his career. I'm talking about AC Milan. I'm talking about Real Madrid as well. You know, he has won everything there is to win in the game, in the club game. He's won everything. He should have replaced Alex Ferguson. Absolutely. He should have been David Moyes. That was just an excuse, guys. I know. That was just an excuse. People saying, oh, we couldn't get Klopp because he agreed to go to there. We couldn't get Pep because he agreed to go to Bayern at the time. And, you know, there was Ancelotti. You know, we could have got Ancelotti. We could have got Ancelotti. Now, Ancelotti's 66 years old. It feels like he's been 66 for 60 years, but he is 66 years old only. Could he come into Manchester United? And could he make a difference for a few years at Man United? Just to steady the ship, so to speak, just to get things a little bit equalized in regards to that. Could he do that? Last swan song. I believe he's leaving Brazil after the World Cup, leading Brazil into the World Cup, of course, and then he's going to leave Brazil after World Cup. So that is an option for Man United. It's a massive option for Man United. However, always have to bring in the context here. We've got Jason Wilcox, Ravel, Barada, and all these guys. Are these guys going to be interfering with Carlo Ancelotti? Will they start saying, Carlo, look, mate, I don't like the 4-2-3-1. I don't like the 4-1-3. Can you play this like this? Can you play him like this? I don't think Carlo Ancelotti would take that nonsense. I don't think he will be like, okay, actually, Wilcox, you're okay. You're right, Wilcox. That's it. Even though he's won 5 Champions League. And how many Champions Leagues that guy won? He won a couple at AC Milan. He's won a few at Real Madrid. My goodness me. You can't tell Carlo Ancelotti anything. So that is the biggest concern in regards to Carlo Ancelotti. When you bring in a manager like Carlo Ancelotti, he needs to do his thing. He needs the power to do his thing. He don't need people on top of him on his ear all the time, telling him this, telling him that, because obviously he's not going to take that. You know, he's not going to take that. So it's very interesting. Only problem with obviously Carlo Ancelotti is his age. He's obviously, as I said, he's 66 years old. Could he give us 10 years? Could he give Man United 10 years? I doubt it. It's going to be difficult, especially in the environment that Man United are, the toxicity surrounding Man United. He's going to be tasked and walking into Man United and changing the culture at the football club and this and that. Carlo Ancelotti is the type of manager that needs a kind of settled team there, you know, and we're not settled at the moment. Maybe Carrick can settle the ship. Maybe we can kind of, you know, bring in an element of confidence into that team, a bit of culture into that team in regards to their performances, and the mentality improves and stuff like that. Maybe we can do that. Maybe that could happen. But it's going to be very difficult if Carlo Ancelotti walked in and the club is in disarray, as it has been for a very, very long time, of course, guys. So let's wait and see what happens. Let's play this by ear. Obviously, we do need a proper manager. Michael Carrick has distanced himself from the full-time manager's position. He sees himself as a coach for now and would like to manage the likes of Crystal Palace or any of those teams before he jumps into the big job. And that's respectful, of course, guys. Absolutely. So just a little bit of a reiterate. Kader Mate, Rennes, France, under-21 player, centre-forward, 18 years old, 10 million euros he's valued at, is linked to Manchester United. Ruben Loftus-Cheek is 29-year-old, centre midfielder, attacking midfielder, CDM. Used to play for Chelsea, of course, was discovered at Chelsea. 10 million from AC Milan. Now, let's wait and see what happens with regards to that. The good thing about Loftus-Cheek is that Loftus-Cheek is a midfielder, and we need a midfielder, of course, guys. Absolutely. Big up everyone in the stream. I hope you're all doing well. Welcome to the stream, guys. I hope everyone is blessed, of course, guys. Thank you. Big up Sanjay. Hope you're doing well. Big up Sam. Hope you're doing well. Good to see you, mate. Hope everyone is blessed in the house, guys. Thank you so much for joining me on this Friday, guys. On this Friday, of course. Thank you for joining me, Sam. Big up everyone. I hope you're having a splendid Friday. Mr. Os, what's going on, man? Many are saying that these was no Qatar bid a couple of years ago, and that was a fake news. Many are saying that there was no, many talking crap. They're just trying to cover up their incompetencies in regards to their opinion. There was a Qatar bid, right? And they were at the end of the day, and this is what the narrative is to try and cover up for Jim Ratcliffe. I'm not hearing anything. Well, it's a bit like Sheikh Jassim Hamid doesn't exist. Do you remember that old chestnut? Oh, of course he exists. He was at the World Cup final. You know what I mean? He's been all around TV now, so they can chuck all their conspiracies out the window, because at the end of the day, they slandered that Qatar bid, and they destroyed that Qatar bid, and we lost our opportunity to get a full sale because of good old Jim Ratcliffe, wasn't it? You think Qatar are jokers? They took PSG and they made PSG into the best team in the world, the highest PSG have ever been, and consistently PSG winning trophies. Consistently, they're winning trophies. Good morning, Jeremy. How you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Hope everything is blessed. I'm guessed, or do I think Mbappe should go United? Real Madrid want Erling Haaland for the upcoming summer, according to reports. If Man United have got 200 million to spend, they can have Mbappe, mate. Or do I think he's not going to Man United, mate? Get that out of your head right now, Rory. That's the mentality we need to remove because at the end of the day, we don't need any mercenaries, mate. We don't need any more of that crap. This gobby shit. You know what I mean? We don't need any of that. Right, Barca are in a better place right now. Haaland would just suit that team. Haaland would. Good morning, Mark. What's going on, Sal? Reading that Rory Mullerstein has put the 2p in saying Lamens is not good enough for United. Must have forgotten De Gea first season at United when he was coming. What has been wrong with sending Lamens? He's made one mistake. You know, and people are saying the 23-year-old has made, you know, these people are stupid. Rory Mullerstein is a prat anyway. He wanted the Man United job. You've got to look at things in context and look at things from reality. He's a bit bitter about Man United. Sending Lamens is a good player, and then he just lay off his back, for goodness sake. Honest to God. Kenny, Ancelotti should have been manager, but we got Moyes. Exactly. Ancelotti, Lewandowski have been at those signings. Ancelotti and Lewandowski, yes, probably would have been at that time. Lewandowski is a little bit old now, you know. Lissandro Martinez, is he considering time at centre? Dev said so. I don't know what they're talking about, mate. Wilcox is cooking blood. Yeah, exactly. Let's wait and see about that. Big up, Mark Jammer. The Glazers went to Fergie's recommendation and we ended up with Moyes. It's time for a younger manager. Enough respect to Ancelotti, but it's not. It's a no from you, but he would steady the ship for Man United. He would steady the ship. He would steady the ship. Anyone who says no about Ancelotti doesn't know football. I'm sorry, Mark. You don't know football if you think no for Ancelotti. Sorry. He got 10 years in his locker. He's 66. He's not 86. 10 years. Younger manager. We've done that. It hasn't worked. Let's get someone who had a little bit of discipline, who would change the culture at this football club. That's what it is. Do you know what I mean? Absolutely. Roy, I can only hope he gets sold in the summer. Since 2018, Dalot has nothing but horrible. Can't defend, can't control, can't tempo, shoot, nothing. We know that. Roy, you're speaking the absolute obvious, my guy. No shit, Sherlock. Vineth. I don't know what's that got to do with the subject line, but anyway, we need to finish in the Champions League slot before thinking about an elite manager. Even then, the club can back him on the window. We need to think high, Vino. That's what we need to do. Man United always need to think high. I don't care about this mediocrity mentality. Man United should always think high, regardless. All right, put pressure on them. Haaland could pick up both goals and butt. Yeah, exactly. He could easily say that, couldn't he? Do you know what I mean? Exactly that, Jeannie. Good morning, afternoon, evening, all Man United fan. Big up, my friend. I have read Paqueta leaving West Ham. He seems a good player. Why don't we go for him? Because we are not going to go in for him because we're not going to sign any players of a decent amount of money this summer, this window, unfortunately. And Man United have got Cunha, Man United have got Embremo, Man United have got Fernandes, Man United have got Shea Lacey. Man United don't really need another attacking player. That's it. The only one I would say that Man United need is a striker. Is a striker. That's all Man United need. You know what I mean? Man United just need a striker. They don't need another attacking player. Man United need to go in for midfielders. You know, I would much rather get Loftus-Cheek than get another bloody attacker. We've got so many. And he's all right player. He's good, but not the level that we need. Wasn't Harry Gregg 23 when he joined Manchester United? Same age as Seny Lamens? Yes. You know what I mean? Yes, he is. And I don't understand this criticism and slander of Seny Lamens. I really don't understand it. I think he's done very, very well coming into a new country, a new league. You know, I think he's done brilliant. I think he's always calm on the ball. I never worry about Seny Lamens. I'm not worried like I was worried with Onana. I was never worried about Onana. I was always worried about Onana. Every time he went on the pitch, I was like, when's Onana going to make a mistake? With Seny Lamens, it's a completely opposite. Seny Lamens, I'm like, this guy's, calm. Every goal he's conceded is because of the bloody midfield, the Bagel FC and stuff like that. I don't understand it. Luke Shaw in a league in Europe, horrible defender. Roy. We're not talking about Luke Shaw. We're not talking about that. Luke Shaw was a great player for 10 years. He had an injury, but he's not a good player anymore. That's granted. I understand that. Right. So far, you mentioned Dalot and Shaw. No shit, Sherlock, Roy. All right. These are little opinions that we're not caring about. There's bigger issues at Man United at the moment. Right. These are baby things. All right. We know that Luke Shaw is not up to the level. We know that. We know that Dalot is not up to the level. No shit, Sherlock. We've been speaking about it for a very, very long time. We know that. But right now, we have to concentrate on what's future for Man United, about the ownership, about what we're going to do with the manager and stuff like that. Luke Shaw and that, yes, they will leave the football club. They should leave the football club. And that is where it goes. I don't know if you wake up in the morning and go, oh, my Lord, goodness, Luke Shaw, Dalot, Luke Shaw. I mean, I don't know what you do, Rory, but it's no point talking about this because we know about this. We've been known about this. We've been speaking about this for 10 years. Do you know what I mean? I know, at the end of the day. Onana was conceding goals at IS, Inter, etc. Kenny, you know, I would say about Onana, I remember the Europa League final under Jose Mourinho. I don't know if you remember the game against Ajax. And the first goal for Man United. If you watch the first goal for Man United when Pogba scored and you saw the positioning, the body of Onana, his feet movement and that was all over the place and the ball ended up looping over. It took a wild deflection, granted. But if Nana had his body and that start correct, he wouldn't have conceded that goal. And back then, in 2017, by the way, I said, thank God that goalkeeper doesn't play for us. And we had Romero in goal. And I said that at that time, thank God that goalkeeper doesn't play for us. You know what I mean? And lo and behold, years later, he ends up playing for Man United. Do you know what I mean? It's ridiculous, isn't it? You know, and look, you know, Senny Lamens is a breath of fresh air. Lamens will be a great player. I'm not on slandering players right now because we have what we have. And, you know, if it's not Luke Shaw, we got Dorgu. If Dalot, who else are we going to put in place of Dalot? You know, there's nothing we can do. You know? Hi, Jaffa. What's going on, my friend? Hope you're doing well, brother. Ineos came in to stabilize things. They made it worse than before. There isn't one department that us as fans can say is going fine, but instead everything is a mess. Everything. They've made things 10 times worse, Jaffa. Absolutely. They've completely sunk the ship, so to speak. And many of us predicted this a long time ago. A long time ago, we predicted that Ineos are going to come in with their vanity project. It was like over a year ago now, wasn't it? And we foresaw this. We knew this was going to happen. You know, and I hate saying this. I hate saying, oh, I told you so, I told you so. But this is what the biggest problem in Man United is. This is the biggest problem right here, right in your face. And, you know, and Ineos and the Glazers, we got a protest on the 1st of February with game against Fulham. This is what the biggest problem is. The biggest problem at Man United is the ownership. You know what I mean? People are so concentrated on symptoms and not the problem. Dalot, Shaw, you know, Maguire, this, that. You know, we're too concentrated on that when these things wouldn't happen because of that. They're only there because of that. You know what I mean? This is what I'm talking about. And the bigger problems, you know, at the end of the day. David, always read about ex-players and coaches from our own club and side clubs negative about our current players and players we want to buy. Van Gaal even told Timber not to come to United. He told Timber not to come to Man United because of Man United, a commercial club. He spoke about that. He spoke they're a commercial club, which they are a commercial club. He's absolutely spot on. Man United are a commercial club because of the ownership, not because of the ex-players and stuff like that. Now, I'm here to talk about the ex-players in regards to their mouthiness in media. I'm not going to slander them as players because I don't use this as an opportunity to slander Paul Scholes. Was one of the best midfielders in the world, one of the greatest in history. And Nicky Butt, who is a great substitute and a great servant for Man United. That's given. They are legends at Man United. And I just want to clarify that, okay? But they are mouthy gobshites in the media. And they need to be quiet. This is what they need to do. Stop talking like that. What purpose does it serve to speak about Licha Martinez like that? Please tell me, someone. Or we can pick Haaland can pick up Licha Martinez and he can run with him. So what purpose does that serve? Can someone tell me? You know, it doesn't serve any purpose, does it? It's crazy. When you're thinking about it, why would they do that? What is the purpose of this? What is your goal? We got Manchester City at the weekend, guys. Manchester Derby, massive game. We should be hyping up the team. Do you know what I mean? I wish David Beckham was on the overlap instead of Gary Neville. David Beckham wouldn't go on the overlap. David Beckham would appear on media, and that's about it, briefly. David Beckham's intelligent. David Beckham's a guy who wanted Qatar. Let's not forget. David Beckham wanted Qatar. Let's not forget. David Beckham, every time David Beckham was praising Ruben Amorim. David Beckham was talking about things in context in regards to Ruben Amorim. The only intelligent thing to come out of all of these ex-pros was from David Beckham about Ruben Amorim. If you listen to what he said, he was absolutely spot on. He defended Ruben Amorim. He talked about the board. He talked about the players, and he talked about all that. He's the only one, I would say, has intelligent and has got a brain. I mean, you have to build Miami FC. He built Miami FC and made them into the most famous American club in the world. You know? And that's it. I see more Miami FC jerseys and tracksuits over here than I do Man City. You know what I mean? David Beckham is a godsend. Like, there's two people, Roy Keane and David Beckham. David Beckham should be at Man United. I honestly think that. I think we need him. I think he's got a very level head. I don't think he jumps on things too soon. And out of everyone, out of all our ex-pros and stuff, he's been through the most. He's been through the most. Out of everyone there, he's been through the most. And, you know, when Beckham speaks, I listen. I want to listen. You know, there's a reason that Paul Scholes and Nicky Butt and Gary Neville, they don't speak much when they were playing. I know why now. I actually prefer when they didn't speak at all. I really do prefer that, you know. And at the end of the day, I wish David Beckham was at the football club. Look, Nicky Butt and Gary Neville. Nicky Butt is not on the overlap. Nicky Butt is on his own program. It's called Suffolk Girls. I've forgotten what it's called, but it's with the Leeds United fan, the host, a comedian, whatever he is, actor. It's with him. Nicky Butt and Paul Scholes are on a different program to the overlap, but. Beckham wouldn't do them things. He might go on there as a guest, but I don't think he would go in there. He would host the overlap or anything like that. I think he's got more brains than that to do that. You know what I mean? And one thing about David Beckham, he's maintained his dignity, his integrity, hasn't he, in regards to Man United? David Beckham put the green and gold scarf on. Absolutely, Dave. Against AC Milan, that game. Yeah, I remember that game. I remember that game because I had a ticket for it, and I sold the ticket because I couldn't go. I gave the ticket away because I couldn't go. But look, David Beckham, just like me, is a Leytonstone lad. Just like me, born and bred in Leytonstone, went to the same school together, you know, and I know about him. I know about his family. I know about his background. I know about his grounding, his personality. And one thing is, a lot of people talk about Cockney Reds and things like that. David Beckham would do more for Manchester United than your Paul Scholes and your Nicky Butts, who are born and bred, by the way. He would do more for Manchester United than them. He talks about Man United more than in a way that is more listenable to them. You know, coming online or coming on TV and talking about, oh, this or that, or this and that is shit, is that, is this, because I'm not going to hypocrite myself. I'm not going to flip-flop for myself, you know, because at the end of the day, I can't defend Licha Martinez and go and criticize everyone else at the same time because, you know what, Licha Martinez is a slightly better player than them. I'm not going to go out and start criticizing everyone. I'm not going to do that. You know, I'm just going to say Man United have what they have. The reason they have what they have is because we got the Glazers and Ineos. And that's the reason we have what we have. You know? And that's what I would say. And the cause needs to be targeted rather than the symptoms, if you know what I mean. And that's what I would say about that. I look forward to the game tomorrow. I'm excited about the game tomorrow. Interesting to see what team is going to be picked. Interesting to see the lineup that's going to be picked as well. You know, interested to see, you know. So we have to wait and see what's going to happen. I hope Man United win, you know, at the end of the day. I really do. I hope Man United do the business tomorrow. I predicted yesterday in the match preview that it would be 3-1 to Man United. I'm going to stick by that, definitely. Big up, Renee. So what's going on, brother? I hope you're doing well. Yeah, Beckham seems to be a whole different level of ambition and intelligence as Scholes and Neville. Absolutely. Absolutely. Completely different. Different personality, different person, different ambition, different achievements. You know what I mean? Absolutely brilliant. And didn't need to sell his soul for it either. Mark, I believe we will get a result against it. So do I, Mark. I do as well. I believe we'll get a result as well. I believe Man United will beat City tomorrow. And guys, I hope so. A draw wouldn't be the end of the world, but obviously we got a lot of catching up to do in regards to the top 5, top 4, this, that, and the other. It's not going to be the end of the world, but we have to wait and see what happens, of course, guys. It's going to be a game that I'm excited because Man City are not the strongest that they have been over the years. They have got injuries, but obviously they've got a big squad. They've got a massive squad full of talent. But I think Man United have got a good opportunity here. I don't think Man City are playing good football. That's one thing I would say. I think they're not the same Man City as they were a few years ago. It all depends on the game, how we start. If we go into that game, we can see the goal. It's going to be difficult to get back, as we know, Man United mentality and that. Crowd will get on the backs and stuff. But I'm interested to see the atmosphere. Apparently, obviously, the Glazers and Ineos have flown to Carrington for a meeting with Jim Ratcliffe. Surprisingly, they've gone to Manchester. Usually, they go to Monaco to do their meetings, but they've gone to Manchester. So that would likely mean that the Glazers will be present at Old Trafford. Now, let me just say this. The Glazers have been present at Old Trafford quite a lot of times, and the pressure has not been put on them. How can the Glazers walk into Old Trafford unscathed like that? There should be eggs. There should be everything. Everything should be thrown at them. They are a nasty piece of work. When they walk into Old Trafford, we should target them and we should say, these guys, sing to them, swear at them, intimidate them, scare them. That's what we need to do. I'm seeing people taking pictures with them. This is the problem I have with it. Now, hopefully this is changing. You know what I mean? Hopefully it's changing. I think ex-players must not interfere with our club, but that's why we can't go forward. We love our past and history, DNA, culture, everything about Man United, but we need to move on forward. A new coach, new ideas. Yeah, it's true. It's true. We do need to move. We can't move on from it. We can't move on from it. Let me just clarify. We can't move on from our past. That's who we are. That's why we're here. Right? Our past is why we're here. But it's not about our history and heritage and DNA. It's not about that. It's about slandering players. It's about saying, pick up Licha Martinez and run towards the goal. That's what I'm talking about. We can't forget our history, Busby Babes and that. That's who we are. If players can't handle our heritage and history, they shouldn't be playing for Man United. It's as simple as that. But these ex-players, they slander managers. They don't look at context. They don't look at what's going on around the club. They slander players. And this is the problem. It's not about an intelligent opinion here. We're not talking about Man United in regards to our history and heritage and that. We're talking about slandering of managers, slandering of players. That is what it's all about. Man United will never forget our history and heritage. That's why we have the Munich clock at Old Trafford. That's who we are. That's why I love this football club. And it will never change. These players should be inspired by that, like they were in the past. You don't think Ryan Giggs, David Beckham, Paul Scholes, Eric Cantona weren't inspired by what our past? Of course they were inspired by our past. But what I don't like about our ex-players is that they're calling things out. They're not thinking about the damage that they are doing when they're calling things out and they're slandering players. They're slandering. Like yesterday, I watched the overlap and it was like a Ruben Amorim bashing show. And that is the sort of thing I'm talking about. That has nothing to do with DNA. In fact, our DNA is against that. It's against that sort of thing. Patience is our DNA. Context is our DNA. Resilience is our DNA. That is what Man United's DNA is. But these ex-players are contradicting themselves in regards to that. Like they said about our DNA. They spoke about it, about young players. Man United have only brought through 14 young players from the late 60s to pre-class of 92. 14. Right? So we need to understand facts here. There needs to be a factual level to this and not a slandering level or try and twist and rewrite history to fit a narrative and mold something into what is not true. Do you know what I mean? Seemed like ex-player pundits wanting us to lose badly. Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised yet. I mean, there is some people saying that some of the ex-players want us to lose. I mean, it's slightly coming towards that now. I'm starting to think that do they actually want us to win? I mean, let me just say, in particular, Gary Neville. I think he thrives more off the Man United losing. And when I think about Gary Neville, obviously he won't say anything about the Glazers. He won't say anything about Ineos. He won't say anything about them because he's got a conflict of interest in regards to hotel football and rah-de-rah-de-rah. And he's always going to have that conflict of interest there, and he's always going to have that there that he thinks about himself. I think that I don't know whether they're frightened that Man United we're going to take their legacy. They're not. Their legacy is going to be there. Their legacy is always going to be there. They want a treble. They want endless league titles. No one is going to take that away from them. We are not going to get into that level again. Hope we do one day, maybe miraculously, but we are never going to get to that level again. So I don't know why these ex-players are worried about that. My feeling is this. These ex-players have become very self-righteous. They become very arrogant because they think that, oh, we won this, we done this, we done that. So we have a better opinion than you. We are the oracle of Manchester United and blah, blah, blah. And I think this is what they think, at the end of the day. Even our own fan base were betting again. Yeah, look, at the end of the day, Kenny, I find it amazing. When Ruben Amorim was sacked, there were some people, and I would never want Man United to lose. Whoever's in charge of Man United, you know me, I would never want Man United to lose. I'm always cheering Man United for the best, for Man United to win. When Ruben Amorim was in charge, there were certain sections of the fan base who wanted us to lose so that Ruben Amorim gets sacked, right? And that is something that is absolutely unacceptable. Funny enough, there were some people who wanted Man United to lose because obviously Carrick was in charge. No, Fletcher was in charge the other week, and that's disgraceful as well, equally. The funniest thing about it, what I found funny, is that those people who Ruben Amorim out were saying, oh, the Ruben Amorim inners were disgraced that they wanted Man United to lose. And I'm saying, my goodness me, take a dose of your own medicine, son. You were the one who was saying, like, I want Man United to lose. I hope Man United to lose so that, Ruben Amorim goes. They were the ones who did it. But anyone who wants Man United to lose anyway, regardless who's the manager, is a disgrace and not a Man United fan. You hardly hear from Philip Neville. Yeah, he's a quiet guy, Philip. He was managing in America for a long time, wasn't he? Dave, Gary never used to slag Joel Glazer off, then all of a sudden gone very quiet. Yeah, he used to slag them off. Yeah, obviously because his own interest is in the forefront. His hotel football, his businesses and stuff like that. It's a conflict of interest, isn't it? So if he starts slandering the Glazers, they're not going to get him involved in the regeneration project. This is a fact, and this is why he wouldn't do it. He'd be shooting himself in the foot, wouldn't he? So I would urge him to just be quiet about Man United. If you don't want to say anything about the Glazers, about Ineos, then but you would rather slander players and you would rather slander the manager, then I don't want to hear his opinion anymore. And I think he should shut up about Man United. I really do, because everything that comes out of his mouth is a problem. We want the Glazers out. We want Ineos to go. This is what we want. They have destroyed this football club. They've ripped this football club to pieces. They divided the fan base. Everything that is negative, they've done. Big up, Dan. What's going on? Buzzing for the derby tomorrow. I think it's going to be end-to-end, a classic with Man United winning and scoring. Anything can have 3 goals. Anything can happen, Dan, in a friendly. Oh my goodness, in a derby. Of course, it's, as I said, it's the great equalizer, isn't it? A derby is the great equalizer. Anyone could win, and I hope Man United go out there and win. I'm not going to be negative going into that game. I'm not going to be calling out players. I'm not going to be doing any of that nonsense. I'm going to be backing these players in that game, as I always will do. We can't do nothing about what we have. And that's what I would say. So we have to ensure that we support them. Us screaming and shouting, he's a fraud, he's this and that, is not going to help Manchester United win against Man City, at the end of the day. It's not going to help. So I think that we need to just support the football team. Absolutely. Absolutely spot on, Dan. And we haven't changed. The funniest thing is that we haven't changed. We supported Ruben Amorim, but we haven't changed. We're supporting Carrick now. It's the Ruben Amorim outers who are still going on about Ruben Amorim, Ruben this, Ruben that, Ruben that. Some of them have gone towards the Ineos out Glazer thing to cover themselves up a little bit, but a lot of them are still going, Ruben Amorim here, Ruben this, Ruben this, it's Ruben's fault, it's Ruben Amorim's fault. It's mad. Kenny, the only positive thing about Carrick, he is unbeaten. There's a lot of positives about Carrick. I'm not going to blame Carrick, and I'm not going to destroy Carrick here. I mean, there's nothing wrong. Like, we have to support him. He's not experienced, and he's never come out and said that he is. And he's never come out and said he wants a job full-time. He doesn't want the job full-time. He wants to be a coach, and he wants to build himself up, and that's fair play to him. At the end of the day, there's a lot of good things about Carrick. He's a Man United legend, Kenny. I know some people you weren't around. I witnessed him. You know what I mean? And there's a lot of people weren't around about him, but he's a very level-headed fella. A very level-headed guy. An intelligent guy, and I wish him well. And that's about it, and there's lots of things that are good about Carrick. Is he ready for management? Probably not. Probably not. Only good thing about Carrick is like, nah, that's the man dem minion opinion. You know what I mean? We're not in that on that thing. Carrick is a legend, and there's a lot of good things about Carrick, and I'll always say that. Won a treble, won a double Champions League and League double at Man United. You know what I mean? Had the balls to step up for a penalty against Chelsea in that final as well. Buried it, and I would always praise Michael Carrick and always played his legends on a level. Carrick doesn't come out and start speaking trash about anyone. You know what I mean? And that's one thing I would say. He doesn't come out and start speaking trash about the manager, about this and about that. And that's one thing I would say, about that. Yeah, but there was many good things about Carrick, and you'll see that. Absolutely. There was a lot of knee-jerk reactions in regards to Ruben Amorim. There was a lot of people after every game, oh, he's not good enough. He's a fraud. He's a this. But you know what? One thing I would say, and people have been on the show a long time as well. Commenters come on here, so calling Ruben Amorim fraud and stuff like that. They disappeared now because they don't want to come on here and start talking about football, about Ruben Amorim, about that, because they know that they've made the wrong choice. What I would say is that we back Michael Carrick. I back Michael Carrick, and we're all in for it tomorrow. You know what I mean? Dave, I think they are all scared they are not going to sell stories. If United see a good play football, win more games, our fan base and pundits have stories and lies and try to tell the public all they are glory hunters. Yeah, what I would say about the players, and I would say about I think that you're always going to get that at Man United. Man, let's not pretend that didn't happen in the 90s, because it did, David. And this happened a lot. This happened at Liverpool, of course. When Liverpool went years without winning the title, there were a lot of criticisms at Man United. But one thing Man United built back then was a resilience to the media, was a wall of, us against the world. And you can have lemons and you can make lemonade, or you can just have a sour lemon and just go, oh, you know what I mean? It's up to you. These players need to be realized, and Roy Keane said it right. These players need to understand who they're playing for. This is Manchester United, right? There's going to be criticisms. There's going to be media. There's going to be this. There's going to be that. There's going to be all that nonsense, do you know what I mean, surrounding Man United. Of course there is. And you have to have the personality to combat that, to overcome that. I know it's difficult these days. I know they've got social media, but it was bad in them days. I actually feel like the crowds and stuff back in them days were much more aggressive. What they used to sing about Beckham. But what did Beckham do? He made lemonade, didn't he? Won the treble. The season after he got sent off in the World Cup, he won a treble. Marco has been linked with replacing Torres Frank at Tottenham. Poison Chalice is Tottenham. I wouldn't go anywhere near Tottenham if I was him. Dan, we can't lie and let City do the double over us. Our front line is full of goals. I think we can outscore them. Both teams are a bit dodgy in defence. I agree. We do miss De Ligt. Of course we do. And would be nice for De Ligt to come back. But I had a feeling yesterday, I think we might play Maguire, I've been hearing about Maguire. I've been hearing a lot about Maguire. And I think, we might play Maguire. I mean, that's crazy, but it is what it is. You know what I mean? If we're hard to score against, we have a chance. We have a chance, mate. We beat Liverpool away. We're beating Chelsea this season. Beating Newcastle this season. We're beating Crystal Palace away this season. This is but people forget this old chestnut, don't they? We have to be harder to score against. But it does become easier to score against us because obviously now we're playing 4 at the back. And what people don't understand, right, is when Ruben Amorim was in charge, yeah, he played 3 at the back and stuff like that. But were we ever slapped up? We were never slapped up, were we? We were never slapped up. When we were playing 4 at the back, the 5-0s, the 6-1s, the 6-3s, and all these things, we were slapped up, weren't we? So it's interesting to see what's going to happen. It's interesting to see how we're going to overcome that. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, how we're going to negotiate the defensive side of things. We do miss De Ligt, and out of every positive that's come out of this is that how important Matthias De Ligt has been at Man United. What a signing. Mazraoui, how important Mazza has been at Man United. What a signing. We need these players back, definitely. The experience that they have is brilliant. You look at Mazza the other night from Morocco. Mazza playing left back. Left back. He's a right back and the right centre back. And he's playing left back. That's how versatile that player is. An absolute fantastic player. We need them back. And hopefully they'll be back soon. Mazza's going to be playing this weekend in the third place, in the final, so he will not be back for Manchester United, of course. He would have been playing in the third place anyway. But yeah, I wish Mazza the best of luck in the AFCON, of course, tomorrow, which will be on Sunday, I think it is, which will be live. Watch along on Stretford Post, of course, guys. Yeah. But what I want to do, I don't want to slander anyone, you know. Unfortunately, Mazza is in the final. Yes, got to work for one more week. Wait, yeah, he would have had to wait a week anyway because the third place playoff, Kenny. Darren, big up Sal, big up Darren. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're well. Yeah, the third place playoff. It doesn't matter even if he lost the last game against Nigeria. It would have been the third place playoff. So it would have been a week. We had to wait a week anyway, and we've known this for a while. You know what I mean? So that's not a problem. I think we got cover in those positions. But Mazza's a big player for us. He is, and great signing. But so is De Ligt. De Ligt's an absolute leader in that back line. And it'd be great to have De Ligt back. What people don't remember is that when we had De Ligt and Martinez playing, we had a very good defensive record, guys. We really did. And we couldn't score back then. This is why patience was so important, guys. This is why patience with Ruben Amorim was so important, because we got the goal side finished and the creating chances side of things finished and fixed. Now, because we had injuries in the back, we're conceding goals. You know, but maybe when he got his players back, we might have been a good one. You know what I mean? We were conceding 20+ shots on the goal before Amram arrived. Exactly that, Darren. We were conceding a lot of goals as well. Morning, Sal, my bro. Big up, brother. How you doing, Daryl? We get the result tomorrow. Come on, my guy. Let's do this. We got to get the result tomorrow. Mark, what's going on, my brother? I hope you're doing well. Good morning. How are you feeling? I'm good today, boss. I'm very good. Are the rumours of Wilcox going true? We don't need to look at many cooks in the kitchen. We don't have to have too many cooks in the kitchen. Give the manager what he needs. I agree. I think that having too many chefs in the kitchen is just going to disrupt things. You're going to have vocal people, too much voices, too many opinions. It's just going to confuse things. Just have the manager, let the manager do his job, and you do your job. You scout, you find players and stuff like that. Direct things. You know what I mean? At the end of the day. And that's what it should be. I haven't heard nothing about Wilcox. However, there's a meeting between Jim Ratcliffe and the Glazers. I think it was yesterday in Manchester, which is interesting because they could have had the meeting in Monaco. So either they're going to go and speak to Michael Carrick, have a word with Michael Carrick, talk about tactics, talk about transfers, whatnot, or they're going to be speaking about Wilcox and the future and the best in class and what's going on. How comes things haven't improved and blah, 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 you know? Big up, Mark. Big up, my friend. Could Ahmad Diallo play on the left and Brian Mbeumo play on the right against Manchester City? You know what could happen, Sam? Why don't we do this? Why don't we play Mbeumo as number 10? Why don't we play Ahmed on the right and play Cunha on the left? Move Bruno down into the midfield and play, obviously, Casemiro. Maybe. What a front three, though. What a front three that is. Cunha, Mbeumo, and Ahmad. Come on, guys. And Sesko, by the way. 3 goals in 2 games, guys, by the way, Sesko. Told you it'd come good at the end of the day. That's quite a good front line. We just need to fix the other side, guys. We need to fix the other side of the pitch, and then we'll be all right. We're actually not even halfway through the rebuild, exactly. Needing midfielders and wingback. Yeah, we're nowhere near it, mate. And then after that, you need to think about the squad. You know what I mean? And we're nowhere near what what Ruben Amorim was trying to build. But let's reiterate. Let's clarify. Ruben Amorim wasn't sacked because he, tactically or because of the results. He was sacked because he called out the owners. He was sacked because of ego. Jason Wilcox's ego. That's the reason that he was sacked. That's the disgraceful thing about it. This is why he was sacked. But guys, look, I'm interested to see the team tomorrow. It will be Michael Carrick's first team, of course. I've got a feeling about Maguire, guys. I've heard a lot of people talking about Maguire may play to keep on the safe side. Instead of Yoro, of course, I would like a little bit of balance. Licha Martinez and a right footer in the centre-back. So a left footer and a right footer. I would like that in the centre-backs. Obviously, it's going to be Dalot and Luke Shaw. As much as we think about them, and I said it earlier, as much as we don't like Dalot and Luke Shaw, we've got to support them. They're playing in fullback now. They're going to be playing in their natural positions. So let's hope and pray that they have good games. I hope. And I'm not banking on it, and I know. But I'm not going to slander them now. That's not what I'm going to do now. Absolutely not. Sal, would you be opposed to seeing Ahmed come off the bench later in the game? No, I wouldn't be opposed to that. I don't think anyone should be guaranteed a place in the team. I think actually Ahmed might be more effective like that. But, yeah, because obviously we would like Bruno Fernandes to play in his natural position, which is the number 10 position, isn't it? And if he plays, then one of them has to drop out. Ahmad and Mbeumo or Cunha. Probably Ahmad or Mbeumo because they play right-sided, isn't it? So I would say I wouldn't be opposed to either Mbeumo or Ahmad coming off the bench. I would think that Ahmad will be more effective at the bench because of his pace and stuff like that later in the game. I think we need to think back to what we were, you know, when we used to have good substitutions and substitutes come on the pitch. We used to have good players who make an impact. We used to have great impact players. These days, we're like, everyone wants to be a first-team player. No one wants to be on the bench. Everyone wants to be a first-team player. Look at Solskjaer, what he used to do off the bench. Became a legend at Man United. You know? It's crazy. Big up, Mark. Mandem, what's going on, my friend? Hit the likes, Mandem. Don't be stingy like Glinios. Big up. Thank you so much, Mandem. Yeah, guys, 50 likes minimum. 50 likes minimum. Look, guys, you may not like what I say. You may disagree. But listen, there are big problems at this football club. Massive problems. And they stem way beyond footballers on the pitch. There's a lot of problems at Man United upstairs. There's a meeting yesterday. You know what I mean? The Glazers and Ineos, there's a meeting going on. What's going on? You know? Mark, let's say we beat City while at home and then Arsenal away. Will Glinios really sign any players at the winner? No, Mandem. No. And I'll tell you why. Because that would give them the illusion that we're good enough. That's how they think, Mandem. They shouldn't think like that. But if Man United pull off two magnificent results against Man City and Arsenal, they're going to look at Carrick and say, we're good enough. We don't need any players. What's the fuss about? Whereas if we lose those two games, and it's double-edged sword here, right? If we lose or draw both games or draw one and lose one or something like that, they're going to think, oh, maybe we do need some players, you know? And that's what they're going to think, you know? So it works the opposite with the Glazers. The Glazers are frauds, you know that. I miss Varane. People forget about Varane. That old chestnut, of course, we missed Varane. Yeah, but he was always injury prone. That's the problem with him. You know what I mean? Good morning, Issa. How you doing, my friend? I'll be doing well. Big up, Mark. I spoke about it in my preview show, Mark, yesterday. Go and check out the preview show. Drop a like, write a comment for that, man. Thanks, Mark. Yeah. It's going to be a tight game. I did predict 3-1 to Man United. I said 3-1 to Man United. I think Man United, it'll be a difficult game, but Man United will run out winners. You know, guys, they'll run out winners at the end of the day. And, guys, we need it. We need it. Whether you like, at the end of the day, the most important thing for all of us to do is support our team. And I would double down on that every single day. You know what I mean? No problem, Mark. Thank you, brother. 106 people watching and only 36 likes. Come on, man, them the likes. Big up, guys. 50 likes minimum. 50 likes minimum. I'm big up, Kenny. 2-1, you say. I'm saying 3-1 to Man United. I hope so, mate. As long as we win the game, Kenny. As long as we win the game, that is the most important thing, is to win the game. That would be nice. Sesko is on form. 3 goals in 2 games. Isn't it crazy, isn't it, guys? How the form of a striker, the narratives can change overnight. Within a week, 3 goals in 2 games. You know what I mean? And that's the thing. There you go. Well, he's performing now. 3-2 United, says Mr. Renee. So that would be a good spectacle. That would be a good game, wouldn't it? You know what I mean? Good game. Neil Gunner says 2-2. Neil, be a good game. Would be a good game. It wouldn't be the worst result in the world for Man United. If Man United draw, then it's not the worst result in the world, but it depends on obviously what we do against Arsenal, isn't it? Which is going to be, in my opinion, a much harder game. You know, away from home. Could have scored more as well, Sal. Absolutely. You know, when football isn't analysed by context, it becomes like a farce because football's dealt on fine margins. You know, it's all about fine margins. He missed that chance. Sesko scores against Leeds. We win 2-1. Sesko missed a few chances against Leeds. We win the game. We missed, you know, the 4-4 against Bournemouth when we went 4-3 up and we were winning. You know, the game against West Ham when we were winning. You know, so many different scenarios could have happened. You know, and that's how football is. It's such a fine line between being a hero and being a villain. Like I said about Sesko, 1 minute Sesko can't hit a barn door. Next minute, Sesko's got 3 goals in 2 games. And we're like, wow, Sesko's on form. And that's the fickle world of football. That's what I'm talking about, the fickle world of football, you know? Mandem. I want to win, but the minions will now use it and say, see, that's why Amram had to be sacked, blood. We are cooking, bro. Carrick, bro. Yeah, Mandem. I spoke about that, Mandem. Look, what we have to do, Mandem, you can't separate every idiot, and you can't call out every idiot there is, because there are millions, mate. There's millions around the world of idiots. Now we got the Mandem minions in their droves in the Man United fan base, because obviously they watch football on the basis of a sinister reason that these people are like them, they look like them, you know, and they back them because of precisely that, not because of footballing opinion. And the Mandem millions will be the Mandem millions. They're predictable, mate. They're predictable. So obvious what they're going to do if Man United win the game tomorrow. But do we want Man United to win? Yes, we want Man United to win. Ultimately, it's about Man United winning the game. That's it. But we're not going to stop them from going blah-de, blah-de, blah. Even if Man United lose, Mandem, let me tell you this right now, Mandem, right? Right? Even if Man United lose, they're going to say, well, this is Amram's team. This is Amram's team. No, bro. No. This is Amram's team, bro. No, but this is his team. They got to get used to it. They're going to do something like that. You won't win. No matter what happens, you won't win. They're gonna throw. They were blaming Amram for the Brighton result. You know what I mean? When Amram beat Brighton 4-2, they were blaming Amram for that. That's where we are, guys, with this. Mark, Ole and Donny, Amram and Mainu, do you see Carrick freezing anyone out? I think everyone has to play for their shirt. I think Mainu has a new lease of life. Mainu has to change his mentality. Absolutely. I think everyone gets a clean slate. I think everyone will have a clean slate, and everyone, it's their opportunity now to show us, you know. They sacked another manager. Congratulations. And it's time for them to do the business and beat Man City. And not only Man City, go into the Arsenal game. And don't get excited if we beat Man City. Don't go, oh my God, we beat Man City. Oh my God, we beat Man City. We got to go into the Arsenal game as well. Let's not forget that. And we got to do the business, and I got slapped up. There's no point beating Man City and getting slapped up by Arsenal, is there? Because Ruben did a job there last season at the Emirates with 10 men, and we won it. That's not a sign of a good manager. I don't know what it is, by the way. You know. We need to fix our defense as a priority. We can score, but we conceding goals. We need a balance to defend. No, David, we don't need to fix our defense. David, we need to fix our midfield, which is contributing to us conceding goals. Man United have a solid defense. Man United have De Ligt, they have Mazraoui, they have Licha Martinez, they have Aiden Heaven, they have a solid centre back. Defense is fine. Midfield needs to be fixed, mate. Priorities, man. Priorities. Priorities, David. Everything needs to be fixed, but the midfield is the priority. We need to fix, because that is where we have Bagel FC. That's where the defense is getting exposed. Before that, we were quite good in defense. Spurs and Sesko comes to mind. Yeah. Chances, not only for him, for other players as well. Despicable minions, Mandem Biani bandits. Yeah, Kenny, listen, I'm the copyright king, mate. I come out with, was it Lee Cotton? Mandem minions. I've got to do this for a living. I really do. The Mandem minions, Stretford Post, copyright. And the Mandem Biani. I mean, look, you know, it makes me laugh when I see their shows. Mandem Hour. Mandem Hour. You know what I mean? Dave, morning, Sal. Hope you're well. Good to see you. If you Glazers are calling for a meeting, it's not looking good for their finances, and history has shown that the Glazers will do everything to maintain money. Absolutely. I've arrived. You've arrived finally, Albie. Big up yourself. Hope you're doing well. Good to see you, my friend. Good to see you, of course. As long as we are playing well, winning and scoring a lot of goals, care about who will be regularly benched. If there's possibility of getting Europe, go for it. Absolutely, Dave. 2-1 United says Dave. Two Daves. Dave. Big up, Sal. Two tough games, Sal. Good morning, Garrett. How you doing, brother? I hope you're doing well. Spot on work with the makeshift defense and attack, but midfield, that's where the priority should be. I'm sick of going into games and regularly seeing overrunning midfield. And this is where it is. You can have, guys, we've had poor defenses. But with a good midfield, you can have Darren Gibson and Darren Fletcher in defense. and still go good. Alex Ferguson proved that. You know, you can have Michael Carrick in defense. Alex Ferguson proved that. You got a good midfield, you're going to be all right. That's a big part of it. The engine of the team is the midfield. That's the biggest part of the football. You know, absolutely. But again, we're being linked to strikers. We're being linked to attackers again. And I don't know why Man United are not linked to more midfielders. Of course, I spoke to today about Ruben Loftus-Cheek, which it'd be a squad player at best. You know, he would be a decent midfielder to bring in. He plays for AC Milan at the moment, done a relatively good job. Man United do need midfielders. Man United need a lot. That's what we think. This is why it was. This is how it should have been. Man United should have worked their way down. We needed an attack. We needed a striker. We got a striker. We needed attacking midfielders. We got attacking midfielders. Then we stopped. We needed a goalkeeper. We got a goalkeeper in the last minute. Then we stopped. We should have went, right, the midfield needs to be sorted out. That's what needs to happen now. The midfield needs to be sorted out. We stopped and said, no, we can't afford it. Facts, we always have spaces in the midfield and then it get easily overrun that way at team CC. And then it gives the illusion to people that our defense is the problem. I'm not saying that our fullbacks aren't a problem. We've got a problem with our fullbacks. That's true. But in regards to the defense, I find it weird that people blame the defense when we got such a poor midfield. And the midfield is meant to act as cover for the defense. And we haven't got that. We ain't got the legs in midfield. And it's something that we need to fix, of course. The sitting midfielder, whether in 2 or a 3, ties the whole picture together. Exactly, mate. It's the engine of the team, mate. You know, it's the engine of the team. And if you haven't got a good midfield, they call it the spine, right? Naturally, the spine needs to be fixed. So you've got the goalkeeper, the centre-back, the centre midfielder, and the striker. Generally, that's the spine. Now you can add attacking midfielder in there, yeah? So generally, that's the spine of the team. That line there needs to be fixed. You take out the middle part of the spine, the forward line and the defense crumble. Because that's the middle. It's the thing holding it together, you know? So you take that out, then you're going to have a problem, isn't it? You're going to have a problem, and that's what happens, you know? Morning, Asif. How you doing, brother? Hope you're doing well. Trying to be positive. Time to back to the Amram Gaffer. That's what I have been doing, back the manager, but the delusional fans think changing managers solve United. Yeah, mate, Asif. We've been talking about this for months, as if we sound like a broken record. Spoke about this under Ten Hag, spoke about this under Ruben Amorim. As if all we do is what we've always done, is do our part and support our football team. And that's always what we're going to do. We're never going to move away from that. We're never going to shy away from that. We're going to support Carrick, and that's what we're going to do. And we will carry on supporting him till the end of the season. And that's what we do, guys. LT, big up, Sal, big up yourself. How you doing? How do we line up properly when we don't have a left winger? Do we drop Cunha due to the form? He's a left winger, mate. We're not playing wingers anymore, by the way. We got fullbacks. Wingers are our thing on the 3-4-2-1 sort of formation. We're not going to have wingers now. It's a 4-2-3-1 now, LT. It's not going to be a winger situation. Cunha's a winger, a left winger. Cunha's a left midfielder. He can play there. When you play the 3, he can split into that left. What is the responsibility of Luke Shaw, which he was a fullback. And he's what Luke Shaw's responsibility is to support Cunha. We've got it sorted, you know. Dorgu's one as well. Do we got Dorgu? I don't think their left wing is a problem. Cunha's a left winger. I don't understand. So, you've been to games, loads, mate. Have seen how if you vacate the midfield, it leaves a lot of spaces. And that's what has been regularly happening at United. The ball, there's 2 things, as I said. It affects the defense and it affects the attack. You know, you don't have a good midfield. You don't get the link between the attack and the midfield, and the link between the defense and the midfield. It's redundant. And I'm surprised that Man United have not addressed this effectively. You know, they haven't done it. You know, it's sad. Hello, Tyrell. How you doing, brother? I hope you're doing well. Good to see you, mate. United need change from top to bottom. Indeed, they do. They do, Tyrell. Yes, they need a big change from top to bottom. So we need midfielders as a priority, or else we're going to make top 4. It's going to be very difficult to make top 4, David. I would say that. I think the pressure put on Carrick is immense. I think it's unfair. I think that Ruben Amorim would have got top 4, top 5. I think he would have got it. I was pretty certain about that. I predicted it at the beginning of the season. But you know, it is what it is. We have what we have now, and we have to support the interim. And hopefully, we go in a run. We go in a massive run, and we win a few games. I mean, if we beat City and Arsenal, then you're looking at, wow, what a start. But there's no point beating City and Arsenal and going losing to Fulham. You know what I mean? So and that's what Man United do, isn't it? Just Man United. This will be typical Man United to go and beat Man City and Arsenal and lose to Fulham and Spurs. That will be a typical Man United, wouldn't it? How about your inner feelings about the interim period of Carrick, who he makes sort of Champions League? I'm always going to be positive, Asif. Yes, he will make Champions League. Yes. I'm always going to be positive. I back him. And that's it. And we have to aim for it. These next 17 games or so, we have to treat it like we got nothing else. We got no Champions League. We got no FA Cup, no League Cup. These 17 games, they have to focus on how we're going to negotiate these 17 games. We've got to win these 17 games. I believe we'll win them. Come on, man. Let's get to 50 likes, guys. Have you smashed the like, guys? Or you're here? Have you smashed the like? Please don't forget to smash a like, guys. If you guys can do that for me, that'd be absolutely fantastic. Nothing at the moment, Bubba. It's weird. It's very weird on Delict. I don't know what's going on. Honestly, no word about Delict at all. Strange. I was speaking to a Bayern Munich fan before Delict came into the football club. He's talking about Delict's injury record, and he comes out with certain injuries and things like that. And it's weird. I don't know. Is there any midfielders coming in January, and who are they? Anyone know? I've been speaking at the beginning of the show, Dave. Check it out. And on past channel shows, guys. Stretford Post knows, of course. With Amram, Champions League wasn't away. Now new mountain to climb with City. We've gone backwards. That's if it's a fact. You know what I mean? We've gone backwards. And this is what the Mandem Minion wanted. They wanted this. We can't sugarcoat this anyway. We have gone backwards, yes. Is Carrick as good as Amram as a manager? No. But we have to support him, and we have to say, okay, let's see what we do. We beat City, blood. We beat Arsenal, bruv. Wilcox is cooking, bruv. Give him time. Oh, my days. How the Minions will be on that bad one. They will be. And then we go and lose to Fulham and Spurs. Then they'll be back down to reality. Back to life. Back to reality. 17 games, 28 needed to be in Champions League. It's not a difficult task unless United bottle it. I wouldn't say that, Asif. It is difficult. I think playing Man City and playing Arsenal is pretty difficult. Playing Liverpool at home is pretty difficult. You know, playing Aston Villa, playing Newcastle away is difficult. It's going to be difficult, mate. It really is. But mountains are there to be climbed, Asif. Mountains are there to be climbed. You never know what's going to happen, do you? But guys, I want to thank everyone. I really appreciate everyone here. You're absolute legends, of course, all day long, guys. Big discussions, big debates. Ultimately, we're on the same boat. Like I always say, we're on the same boat. We're on the same destination. And that is what it's all about with Man United. Keep supporting the club. Let's support Carrick. We've got 24 hours. Massive game tomorrow. Massive day tomorrow. And hopefully we're in good spirits after the game. Ignore the Mandem Minions. The Mandem Minions will be the Mandem Minions at the end of the day. They're unhappy people. So don't worry about them. We worry about ourselves, and we worry about supporting the football club. That is what it's all about at the end of the day. Thank you, everyone. You're absolute legends. Don't forget to smash a like. Let's get to 50 likes. Mandem, we still have top 6 games to play. It will be tricky, but we'll back Carrick. Carrick here. We will back him, absolutely. Yeah, it will be difficult. It's not going to be easy. Absolutely not. Gainey, those wanting United to lose don't know what it is to be a true supporter through thick and thin. Exactly that. I was seeing the Carrick free game manager. What I felt is that it's going to be too much pressure on our back line. 4 will be a pressure. You look at all the games that we've gone smacked up over the last few years. We played a 4 at the back. We lost 7-1 with a 4 at the back to Liverpool, 7-0. You know, there's been many games like, you know, we play 4 at the back. We don't have a midfield. This is the biggest issue with Man United. You know, we don't have a midfield. We don't have a competent midfield. Saliba spent 3 months out with a back injury. Delit might be gone for another 2 or 3 months. Sad, man. Happy Friday, Kenny. See you later, guys. See you later. Guys, thanks so much. Love you guys. You're the best. Honestly, we may disagree, we may agree, but I've got a lot of love for you. Honestly, you are the life and soul of Stretford Post, guys. I mean it. All right. So thank you so much. And please don't forget to smash a like. Don't forget to subscribe. And glory, Man United, guys. Take it easy. I'll see you later on, guys. I will be on Judge Mo's channel, 9 o'clock tonight. I will be having hopefully having Chatterbox as well. So look out for that. I'll put it up on YouTube and stuff like that. Enjoy yourself, guys. I'll see you soon. Hey, have a good one. Peace.